All right, good morning and happy Friday. Welcome into another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mac here on 1010XL's podcast platform, 1010XL.com, the 1010XL app. We are live on Facebook, and we will use this footage and put it on the YouTube channel of the 1010XL Jaguar channel and all over social media. Can't thank you enough for all the support out there. Brought to you by Team Tommy Mac, the group of businesses that I love endorsing in this market and beyond. They are always there when you need them. I've gotten tremendous feedback from people that have used the goods and services of Team Tommy Mac, and you should try them out too. All at TommyMac.net, all over my social media. Please tag them or hit their handle when I put it out there. Be greatly appreciated. All right, it's Friday. We got a lot to get into. Minicamp tomorrow, rookie minicamp. Everyone's going to be jacked up. Travis Hunter in town, etc. Congrats to the young man. Congrats to all the college graduates out there. But first team All-American, academic All-American as well for Travis Hunter. Fantastic. But congrats to him. He will be in town for the minicamp. I will not. I'm headed out of town for a little family vacay, but nonetheless, we'll be back not next week, the week after, and we'll get into it, and we'll look forward to it. And I'll be doing shows live on the road. But we got a lot to get into in about 30 minutes. The Gabe Davis release, I want to talk about that. Mitch Morse's comments about the release. We'll talk about that. We'll take a look around the National Football League. We'll take a quick look at the Jaguars running back room. It's very crowded right now. We'll see who's going to be here, who's going to not. XL Primetime yesterday on 1010XL. I was listening to them while I was in the car. They were talking about Trevor Lawrence and all the drops. And I was like, man, I want to check out all the drops, at least from last year, from a team standpoint and then from an individual standpoint. I also broke down, because this whole look, and it's natural. Liam Cohen coming from Tampa. So I wanted to see how Tampa did in 23 and 24. Okay, as a team in certain categories, only on offense, right? Sacks given up by the O-line, points per game by the offense, third down conversion of the offense, and the running game as a yards per carry, just between the Jags and the Bucks, and we'll talk about that. I also compared Baker Mayfield and Trevor, because the talk is what? We're going to fix Trevor, and he's going to play like Baker did. Baker played out of his mind last year, which he did. He didn't play too bad in 23, by the way. We would have taken that all day long here in Jacksonville, but we'll talk about that and just kind of compare the two, because everyone's, I get it. You're like, well, look what he did with the running game. He did. There's no doubt. Look what he did with the running game. The O-line, I don't know. They weren't great in pass protection last year or the year before. Tampa Bay, they gave up 40 sacks each year. Now, granted, we gave up 41 last year. The year before, we only gave up, 23, we gave up 41. Last year, we gave up 32. So we actually bettered their O-line in that regard. Now, running game a little bit different, but we'll get into that. We'll take a look around the National Football League. George Pickens to Dallas, teaming with C.D. Lamb. I'll give you my thoughts. Jadeveon Clowney released by Carolina. I think we need an edge. I threw out Trey Hendrickson. People are like, oh, whatever. If you could do it, you would do it, because he's better than both of the guys right now. He is. Don't even give me any shit. He is. Trey Hendrickson, if he was on this team, would be the number one defensive end, number one pass rusher on this team, hands down, in my opinion. But we're not going to get him. But wouldn't you like a guy like Clowney? I mean, I would. I think that would be absolutely fantastic. So we'll get into all that. Grammage may be in. He may be out. He's a little flustered this morning, so we'll give him a little time. The cameras aren't working or something like that. I don't know. No big deal. We will carry on. All right, Gabe Davis release. That happened earlier in the week. Not totally surprised, to be honest with you, at all. I wasn't. I have to admit, once I heard Mitch Morse's comments about it, and then started thinking more into it, and then seeing what the dead cap hit is. I mean, they're like 20 million, 20.3 million is a dead cap hit, which I'm sure they can break it up. It's not like they got to hear 20.5 million. Here you go. It's not like that, but it is on the books, whatever. Maybe it's years. He's got 2 left. Maybe they break it up. I don't know how they do it. But you're just basically saying, no, you're gone. We don't care. We're not even going to give you a shot. You're just out of here. And it got me thinking, especially after Mitch Morse's comments, and then you go back to the year Gabe had. Now, look, I'm in agreement with a lot of us. Gabe didn't have a good year. He didn't. He didn't at all. But why didn't he have a good year? Because his last 4 years with Buffalo were pretty darn good. And that's what I think we all thought. That's what we're getting. Listen to these stats, and you could pull them up. I'm sure you could. There's no doubt about it. Where do I have it? He had, here we go. 4 years in Buffalo for Gabe Davis. 163 catches, so that's 40 a year. 2,730 yards. That's about 900, right? 9 times 4 is 36. No, that's too much. 800 is 30. No, that's even way too much. Sorry. 7, about 6.5, 7. Okay, 657. Nothing great. Touchdowns, 27 in 4 years. That's about 6 point whatever, 2 or 1.5. 16.7 yards per catch for Gabe Davis. 4 years in Buffalo. And what did we get? We got 12.7 yards per catch and 2 touchdowns in garbage time up in, or when we played Chicago and London. I thought we were going to get the Gabe out of Buffalo. I know we all did. And not like a number one, even though with that 16.7, you're like, man, he should be able to do it, but he can't. He doesn't, at least he didn't run. He didn't look fast last year. He didn't, I don't know. Maybe they weren't in shape. I'm killing my glasses. Maybe the conditioning wasn't enough. I don't know. A lot of guys got tired. I don't know, but he did not do well. And then there was the spat, him and Trevor. Look, we keep hearing, and this show look, at the end of the day, the whole season and the future is going to depend on how Trevor Lawrence performs as a quarterback. The team as well. I know everything. I know what we're talking about here. But he has got to perform at a high level for this team to really make it. I'm talking championships. I'm not talking 9-8. We're doing okay. He has a decent year and fine. I'm talking like upper echelon, which he's not now. Can be. 1 year, I was listening to the same XL Primetime yesterday. Stroud went from 5 last year. Now he's ranked like whatever, 15th or what. 1 year can change in an instant. And we hope. We keep hearing Trevor's got to be fixed. Doug tried to fix him. Keep hearing that. Doug couldn't fix him. Why couldn't Doug fix him? Right? Why? And we know what we see the bad habits that happen. That's fair. Flat-footed, just his arm, bailing out too quick, whatever, holding on to the ball. We know these things. We know all the good. The good's there. We know that. We know that the good's there. But nonetheless, when you see the stats and then you look at Gabe, like, okay, so was it truly attitude? Now look, here's something. Guys get fat and happy. Damn right they do. They get fat and happy. What does that mean? They get their money. They show up only in kind of shape. They play just hard enough where they're not going to be, gone. He's got guaranteed money, by the way. He's got like $24 million in guaranteed money. I don't know how much he's received already, but he's like, whatever, and he'll get picked up. You watch. Gabe Davis will get picked up, and he'll be productive for somebody. You watch. I don't know why. And look, and Mitch's comments about playing hurt. Okay. Now, let me reread Mitch's comments, because I know a lot of you saw that. Mitch Morse, a lot of respect for it. Look, this is his belief. I believe his truth. If that's his truth, why wouldn't I believe it? It's coming from a player. I believe a player over anybody. Now, we know that Mitch and Gabe were teammates in Buffalo for 4 years and then teammates down here. So they know each other, friends, respect, all that stuff. I get it. But let me read you the comments by Mitch Morse. Absolute tone setter in the locker room and on the field. Perfect with capital letters. Culture guy. Perfect culture guy. Played hurt all year and didn't complain. Having a tough time wrapping my head around this one. The release of Gabe Davis. This is Mitch Morse talking. Now, okay, like I said, they're teammates. He's coming to bat for him. And me and Campo had a little debate a little talk about it. I said, okay, maybe. But let me ask you this. Why doesn't he just say, hey, Gabe, man, love playing with you. Great teammate. Future's bright. Looking forward to watching you continue your career. All the best, man. Not like head scratch. What is going on here? Is that a dig at and then you throw in the dead cat pit like, hey man, fucking, excuse me, I'm not supposed to say that. I can on the internet, but not here. But I'm trying to keep those down. But like, whatever, just get rid of him. He's out. I'm just wondering if this is, look, we got to make sure everything's positive for Trevor. We can't have any negativity at all. And I'm not saying Gabe was negative. I'm not saying that. But the spat was negative. And then he got hurt, and the trust was gone. Everything was gone. Nothing was good. It ended up being very bad on offense and defense. We saw the whole year. But I find that very interesting. And look, he does well in Buffalo. Doesn't do well. Look, I know Josh Allen's way better than most quarterbacks, including our own. It's fine. He is. Doesn't mean Trevor can't get up there. Trevor's all up here. I'm telling you, it's not anywhere else. He's got all the tools. He's got all the physical. He's a freak in that regard. He's got a great arm. He can whip it. He just gets into bad habits. He doesn't see the backside safety. He's not good at field management. He's not good at time management. Now, hopefully, Liam Cohen and company can fix him. Because once again, I hear fix. And I'm hearing this from real people that are close. Like, he thinks he can fix him. They thought, like I said, Doug thought he could fix him. That's what you kept hearing last year. Actually, going into last year, Doug's going to fix him. Doug's think he can fix him. And then he couldn't fix him or whatever. I don't know the reason. He's gone. It doesn't matter. And now it's just down to, look, can we get this offense and defense, but we're talking offense here, get it humming, right? A running game's going to help. Let me throw a little stat at you. Everyone loves these stats, right? I do too. I like them to a certain degree. Not necessarily the new ones, the estimated, this EPA, it's like fantasy, like out there. I like yards per carry, yards per catch, third down conversion, real stuff, you know what I mean? Not like, well, when it's in this certain moment and in this kind of time, he really is fair. No, whatever. Give me points, give me third down, give me touchdown to interception ratio, give me completion percentage. We'll go through it between Baker and Trevor Lawrence. But let me say this, okay, so the running game that was so effective, which it was for Tampa and Liam Cohen. Before Liam got there, the running game was 2023. The Buccaneers averaged 3.4 yards per carry as a running back group. And then you include the QB in that one. Okay, 3.4. Last year, in 2024, with Liam as the OC, they rushed for 5.3 yards per carry as a team or as a group. The Jaguars in 23 rushed for 3.6 yards a carry, just a little bit better than Tampa. And then they only went up to 4.2 yards a carry, much ado to Tank Bigsby, who was at 4.7, I think. Etienne Jr. brought him down. Like he was at 3.7. We're not good at all. So 4.2 as a whole. That's not a terrible running game. Now, we look back and we're like, well, the 3rd and 1s couldn't get first. Agreed. We needed to fix that. And we do need to fix. The O-line guy is getting fixed. Not fully fixed, in my opinion. We'll see what they do. But it's not that dramatically like, wow. Now, Bucky Irving was phenomenal. So Tank was at 4.7. I think Bucky was at 6.7. He had quite the numbers. No doubt about it. Okay, so there's that running game comparison. I don't think it's like everyone's like, oh, it's night and day. That's not night and day. That's a yard per carry difference, which means a lot. It does. But that's attainable to get up there. And I don't think you're that far off. At 4.2 yards a carry, you're okay in the running game. That's okay today. It's not great, but it's not bad either. It's pretty good. It's pretty okay. Better than average. Average would be 4, right? 4. I mean, look, the top defenses in the league, I think last year, they were maybe 1 or 2 under 4 yards a carry. Remember, the Jags were at 4, but they were ranked like 5th. You're like, man, that's not even good. 4 yards a carry, in my opinion, stopping the run is not good because 4 times 3 is 12. That's a first down all day long. You ain't stopping shit if you can only do that. But so I don't think it's that big of a drop-off. Now, we get to drops. Again, Primetime XL Primetime, who I love, they were talking about Trevor to drops. Again, now I got these stats from BetMGM 2024 on the internet. Let's see here, 2024, Jaguars as a team had 22 drops. Okay? Tied for 13th. Now, there were a lot of teams that were tied, so they were pretty low on the totem pole. Cleveland was the highest with like 48 or something like that. The Bucs were tied for 8th with 27 drops. So they were a little bit higher. And again, there was 8, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, whatever. In 23, the Chiefs led with 44 drops. And the Jags had 26, and the Bucs had 25. So, I mean, drops matter, especially ones that matter, like touchdowns. I mean, come on, you got to catch touchdowns. They got to be in the right spot. And by the way, what is a drop? Like, hits in the chest? Absolutely. Hits in the hands? Absolutely. What if you have to make a tough catch on it? And it hits you in the hands, but you're turning back. Like, there was a play, and I think they got to catch it. Don't get me wrong. There's something in the middle there. It should be placed better. There's a play where Gabe against Houston, I think. Now, granted, Trevor maybe have meant to throw it there because he thought that's where the hole was, but Gabe had to turn and try to catch, and then the defensive back hit him right when he caught it and didn't catch the ball. If it's here, lower, whatever, nobody else can get to it. I don't know. I'm not the receiver, nor am the QB. But the drop thing, everyone's like, look, we talk about what? The O-line's not good enough, right? The reasons that Trevor has struggled, O-line's not good enough. The running game's not good enough. The drops are way too much. And then the play call, which the play calling I'll give you, at least from last year. They were a mess. They only called like 5 plays that would work. And I don't know why. I don't know why that was, but guys were in the wrong position. It just was a mess. There was no continuity whatsoever in the pass game with our Jacksonville Jaguars. I think I went through sacks. I did. Bucks last 2 years, 40. Our last 2 years, given up. Sacks given up. Jags 41 and 23, 32 in 24. Our O-line, I mean, look, I'm okay with the regroup. You had to replace the center because Mitch retired, there's no doubt. So you did that, and I'm looking forward to seeing Robert. I'm looking forward to seeing all Makari, Hainsley, all of them. I'm looking forward to seeing them get in there, Wyatt, and seeing what they can do, seeing if they do make a difference. But the O-line wasn't the problem last year. Now, you could say the 3rd and 1s. Yeah, we got no push. Agreed. I think part of that is that's not Doug's offense. He's of a zone, hit the hole right at the right time, and right at the right time the block's happening, and it works. So that's all on timing. But overall, I mean, 32 sacks is not bad. At all. That's less than 2 a game. Now, Trevor got hit. I'm not saying that they kept him clean. They did some games, So I don't think that's very drastic either when you look at it like that. 3rd down conversions. We were pretty close together in 23. They were at 41.5. We were at 38.5, basically. So just 3% off. That's pretty close. You got to be above 40 in this league, I think, to really got to move that chain, man. You got to get that first down. Got to keep it going. 24, the Bucs were 51% on 3rd down on offense. And we were 37.3, basically. So, again, Liam Cohen, maybe. But the drops, they had more drops than us. They gave up more sacks than us. And, well, they rushed better than us. Points per game, we were actually ahead of them in 23 at 22.2. They had 20.5, but in 24, we went to 18.8. We know the deal. They went to 29.5, 9 points per game better with Liam Cohen. So, hey, listen, part of it's play call. And one thing we got in our advantage as an offense is they're not going to totally know, what kind of offense Liam's going to run. They kind of know because they're going to watch Tampa's tape from last year, and they'll learn as they go, but he's going to have all kinds of new stuff, I would imagine, because he seems like a really smart guy, and he knows they know. I can't run the exact same offense that I ran. I've got to have some wrinkles in there to throw him off a little bit, a little chess match. It's going to be a big chess match. What's a real big chess match? Is how you play Travis Hunter on defense. right? Because the offensive coordinator that you go against, he's going to be like, all right, well, they only play him and they only do this when he's in there. Like, you got to really mix that up to keep them guessing, and they're going to try to mix it up to keep you guessing. On offense, he's going to play wherever he plays. And I'm with Ballou, man. If he's like Justin Jefferson, man, forget defense. I don't even care. But you promised him, so you can't go back on your promise. I wouldn't like that at all, and I don't think he would either. But you're going to have to figure that out on the defensive side, right? So you got to really scheme that up, because look, he's not just going to take the number one or number two all by himself. He's not. He's not that kind of corner. He's not. You can give me all the grief you want, but he's not. He's not a man-to-man press, run all over with you. He's athletic enough to do it, and maybe he could do that. But I tell you what, man, I'm worried. Knock on wood. I'm worried that wear and tear. What happens? Those soft tissue injuries happen, and they're a pain in the ass. We see what happens with Tyson. Those things can be a big, big problem. And the more you play, the more you cut, the more. And now, granted, he's young, he's fluid, he's got all going for him. I get it. I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I don't want it to happen. I want the kid to have a tremendous career, be the league MVP, whatever he is. It's funny, I see where people are like, now he's the face. Look, I'm not ready to pass the torch yet. Brian Thomas Jr. is the face. Brian Thomas Jr. Lit the world on fire last year as a rookie. Once we started going to him, he did, man. He was, man, he was almost unstoppable. Almost. I tell you what, man, to me, he's the face of the franchise. You bring in Travis, this whole 2 million followers on whatever the games that's great. I mean, I'm not saying that's bad, but and I'm an oldie, so who cares, right? I just care what he does on the field. I know the organization's like, well, we got all these new potential fans. Totally agree with that. So from a business standpoint, no doubt. But to me, man, Brian Thomas Jr. is just as much of a star as Travis Hunter in the NFL. Maybe not coming in from college, no way. Of course, Heisman Trophy winner, and everyone loves him. And I get it. Look, Travis is not even meeting him. You can tell he's a likable kid. He's having fun. He's enjoying it. He's enjoying his best life. He says he's going to be prepared. And listen, I'm assuming he will be. I'm looking forward to watching to see how they use him. But you are going to have to figure out on defense how you're going to game plan that, how you're going to keep them off balance, and figure out how you get that going. To me, if you're everything they say on offense, then I would leave you there. But I don't want to go back on my word either. So we'll figure it out. I mean, look, if you're going to say he plays nickel, which that means Jordan Lewis is going to have to move, right? Maybe out, and everyone's thinking Jarian's going to be out. But if you play him a nickel, well, then you're going to be like, all right, well, he can blitz from nickel. He can blitz from corner, especially on the short side of the field if it's there, if it calls for it. But you're more apt to blitz from the nickel position. So you come in nickel, they're like, okay, well, I don't think we'll figure that out. We'll slide protection to him maybe if we think he's going to blitz, if they're even that concerned. But nonetheless, looking forward to hearing how he looks. Everyone's going to rave about him. It's going to be a love fest. They're going to be drooling. They're going to be like, oh, my gosh, just like they did with Ridley. Remember when Ridley was here? Oh, my gosh, he's going to set records. I remember hackers saying, Tommy, this could be the best receiver class ever. I'm like, they haven't even played it down yet. What are you talking about? Jimmy and Keenan? They hadn't even played it down at that time. They're not there. Could they be? Yeah, they could be. Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter, for sure, man. For sure, could be that kind of tandem. But you can't just guarantee that now. I wouldn't. I'm looking forward to it, though. Speaking of drops, or speaking of Brian Thomas Jr., 2024 leaders in drops. He was not the top. The top was Jerry Jeudy at 13. Jamar Chase had 9. Brian Thomas Jr. had 7. What am I saying? Drops happen. It's the to me, the ones that hurt are the touchdown, like the really important third down, third and long, catch, feet in bounds or touchdown. You got to catch those. Like those drops can't happen. Drops are going to happen, and then you got to constitute what a drop is. You know what I mean? Right in the hands. What if I just what if I got to jump really high and hits me in the hands, but they're my fingertips and I can't, come down with it. Is that a drop or Said nothing. I don't know. I don't know the answer. But again, I keep hearing all these reasons and things and why it's going to be better and all that kind of stuff. And I hope it is. I really do. But they got to make sure that Trevor is ready to take that step. Listen, he's you look at his stat last year, I don't know, it just wasn't good. Now, granted, he had the injuries, you got to factor that in. But everyone wants to give him the drops, the O-line, the running game. Well, I just went through it, man. But between the Bucs and us, it's not that much different, and it's actually in our favor to a certain degree. At least with sacks given up, they gave up way more but 8 more than we did last year in the regular season. Not counting I didn't count the postseason. So we got to figure that out. All right, let's look at Baker. Oh, by the way, I did want to say this. In 2023, the drop leaders, Puka Nacua with 13, and Tyreek Hill with 12, and our Evan Ingram had 7. How about that? Lowest was 6 that they put, top 25. Puka Nacua, who had a phenomenal year in 23, led the league in drops from the wide receiver position. All right, let's look at Baker Mayfield and Trevor Lawrence. Baker started out, I'm going to go quick, 64% completion percentage, 27 touchdowns, 14 picks. Great rookie year by Baker Mayfield. 2019, 59% completion, 22 touchdowns, 21 picks. Not very good. They kind of figured him out. 2020, still with the Browns, 63%, goes to 26 touchdowns and 8 picks. Pretty good. We take that all day long. 2021, 60.5, so 60%, not very good. 17 and 13, not good for your 4th year in the league. Not good at all. 22, between Carolina and L.A., he really didn't, I didn't even count it because he played like 6 games and 4 games, something like that. So I didn't count those. 23 with Tampa, 64% completion percentage. Before Liam, 28 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. So this whole, he didn't resurrect nothing. I mean, Baker's a damn good football player. 28-10, we take that all day long. Did he make him better? He did. And what Baker says is the pre-snap, and I hope he can do that with Trevor as well. And then, of course, last year, Baker had 71% completion percentage, 41 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions. All with his O-line giving up 40 sacks, his receivers dropping the ball 27 times, and their average on running the football at 5.3 yards per carry. That'll help us, no doubt. All right, we know Trevor's stats, but we'll go through it. Just under 60%. First year, 12 touchdowns, 17 picks. Urban, whatever, terrible year. For all around, not for him per se. He's learning at that moment. I'm not going to give him too much grief. 2022, 66%, 25 and 8. That's Doug's first year. Did they figure him out after that? You know how that happens? It does. Now, his rookie year, you're not going to figure out because Urban's gone. But the first year with Doug is really his rookie year, and they haven't figured out him yet until San Diego tried in the playoff game, and then we made adjustments and came back, and it was great comeback. All with what it was I get at, just the fact that he definitely made it better. There's no question about it. But with all these things, so again, is it the QB? Oh, did they figure him out? Is what I'm getting. I'm sorry, I had a brain for it there. Maybe they did. I don't know. Next year in 23, 65.6% completion. Pretty good. 21 touchdowns, 14 picks. Not bad. I mean, you'd like it higher, like where you were like 35 and 17, maybe, something like that. But you'd take 21 and 14. And then last year, 60.6, 11 and 7. Not good at all. So now you know why people are saying we got to fix Trevor Lawrence. He's got the tools. We know it. They just got to hone him in. I've been saying that. They've been saying that. All right, look around the NFL in just a minute. Brought to you by Team Tommy Mac. Check out TommyMac.net. I love them all. I love them all. They're always there when you need them. Carpet Man Flooring, carpetman.biz. Morgan & Morgan for the people.com. Chris Lucero's bail bonds, 904-822-2245. JDog.com. Always get great reviews. Azar Sausage Co. Make sure you check them out at azarsausage.com. Newmark Phoenix Realty Group, phoenixrealty.net, #1 commercial real estate firm in the land. Family Tradition Specialty Foods, home of Coconut Joe's, the hot sauce on my table. Family Tradition SpecialtyFoods.com. CodeNinjas.com for summer camps for your kids. Get them out of your hair and into camp at Code Ninjas. Salt Air Inn and Suites. Visit saltair.com. Freedom Finance, my fractional CFO friend Courtney Myers. Help your business out with all your financial needs. FreedomFinance.LLC. And Baracus Group for all your risk management and your protection needs, business or personal, BGSJax.com. And a big thanks to 1010XL for hosting the Catching Up with Tommy Mac podcast. Okay, let's see here. George Pickens to Dallas. Okay, they're going to have great fantasy numbers. Phenomenal. You watch. Dak, CD, Dak, CD, and now George. They will. But if they make it to the playoffs, they will crap out in the playoffs because they just don't have the juice to get it done. And I don't think that Dak has the juice to be a clutch. Hopefully I'm wrong for you Cowboy fans, but not for us. I don't think he'll do it. I think they'll have a great year. If I'm drafting fantasy, which I'm not, I'm drafting Dak. But, I'm not expecting him to carry us through the playoffs by any means. The Houston Texans made history in the National Football League by fully guaranteeing the first second-round pick ever in the history of the game. Jaden Higgins was picked, and he's $11.8 million richer, fully guaranteed for a second-round pick. How about that? I mean, look, the guarantees are unbelievable. Even these undrafted free agent rookies are getting guaranteed money. It's insane. It's like $20 million dead cap in with Gabe Davis. Hey, Mr. Kyle, what do you want to do? Let's light a fire. Throw it in the fire. Whatever. We're going to make up. We'll write it off. Make it up. TV, contract, new stadium's coming. Who cares? Get rid of him. You don't like him? You don't want him? He's out. I don't mind it. I don't. That's your strategy. That's what you're thinking. It's great. I bet it's got to work. Got to win. And we'll hold them to it, and I know they will too as well. And finally, Jadeveon Clowney, released by the Carolina Panthers, 5.5 sacks in 2024. Now, I made a comment over on Twitter about, now go get Trey Hendrickson. Listen, why? Now, look, you can't. You don't have the juice, I don't think. But if you did, if you brought Trey Hendrickson in here, he would be your top defensive end. He would be your #1 pass rusher right off the bat. And maybe you move some other guys. I don't know. But he would be. That's why you bring him in. Now, I like Emmanuel Ogbah a lot. And if you can get Jadeveon Clowney, then okay, forget Trey Hendrickson. Sorry, Trey, but I'll take those two guys in place of just one. And I think the good thing about Emmanuel Ogbah, he can play full time. He can play DN. He doesn't have to be, a rotation guy off the bench just for third down or passing downs. He can play it all. And Clowney, look, I think at this stage, I just want him rushing the passer. So that's fine. That's what I'd play him at. But look, I'd take a look at him all day long. I do think we need more edge help. What is the caveat? Or what is the dark, I don't want to say dark horse, but like Lucky Charm maybe? Jalen McLeod, the kid out of Auburn. They say he can fly. They say he's just like the kid up in Philly who comes off the edge and can drop back, do all those things as an outside backer. Maybe he's a poor man's, who am I thinking? Jalen Carter, right? Or Walker, sorry. Maybe he's a poor guy's of that, the kid out of Georgia. So hope so. We need that edge rush, no question about it. All right, that's going to do it. Look, at the end of the day, guys, you can say whatever you want, but it's going to come down to Trevor Lawrence playing outstanding football. Everybody else does too. I'm not saying that they don't, but he has got to be able to carry this team when called upon and do everything right. And look, forget, I shouldn't even bring up the money because I don't care about the money. All I care about, he's our starter, and that's what I expect out of him. I do care that he's the first pick overall, but everybody would have picked him, so I'm not going to hold anybody's feet to the fire on that one. Everybody in the NFL would have picked Trevor Lawrence #1. And you can say he got wrecked, he got all, no. Look, the truth's in the middle. Part of it's on the player, part of it's on the coaches. The question is, can the coaching staff of this new regime get Trevor Lawrence to play consistent, sound football. That's going to be the key to 2025 and beyond. All right, that'll do it. That'll do it heading into Jaguars Today right next on 92.5 FM or 1010XL.com. Thanks to Team Tommy Mac. Love you all. Thanks to all you listening and watching on Facebook and listening out there in podcast land. Totally appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend. God bless. Peace and love, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time. Till next time, stay safe and stay cool, man. We'll see you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mac. Peace.